Welcome to the second part of the lesson, Discovering Tut. The Saga continues by A.R. Williams. Mummies have always captured the imagination and attention of people of all times, as they were once people who lived and loved just as we do today. Hence, they are to be respected. However, certain secrets can be revealed only by studies of their mummies using modern technologies. By carrying out CT scans of King Tut's mummy, it was revealed that the king died when he was only 19 years. But there are mysteries that even a CT scanner cannot reveal. The story of King Tut is never complete without understanding his family history. The next few paragraphs will tell you something about his ancestors. We continue, page number 25. Amenhotep III, Tut's father or grandfather, was a powerful pharaoh who ruled for almost 4 decades at the height of the 18th dynasty's golden age. So the rule of Amenhotep III was about tradition and stability, and that period is known as the golden period of the dynasty. His son Amenhotep IV succeeded him and started one of the strangest periods in the history of ancient Egypt. The new pharaoh promoted the worship of the Aten, the sun disk, changed his name to Akhenaten or servant of the Aten, and moved the religious capital from the old city of Thebes to the new city of Akhetaten, now known as Amarna. He further shocked the country by attacking Ammon, a major god, smashing his images and closing his temples. It must have been a horrific time, said Ray Johnson, director of the University of Chicago's Research Center in Luxor, the site of ancient Thebes. The family that had ruled for centuries was coming to an end. And then Akhenaten went a little wacky. The golden period of the dynasty ended with the death of Amenhotep III, and his son succeeded the throne. And people witnessed one of the strangest periods in the history of Egypt. And the new pharaoh did a lot of things which was completely out of the tradition. So this period can be referred to as a period of revolt. So what are the things that he did? First, he promoted the worship of Aten, the sun disk. That is the first change. The second change is he changed his name to Akhenaten or servant of the Aten. That is the second change. He changed his name. The third thing that he did against the tradition is he moved the religious capital from the city of Thebes to the city of Akhetaten. That is the third point. So these are the major changes that was brought about by Amenhotep IV. Besides these major changes, he even went to the extent of smashing the images of god Ammon and closing his temples. So people who witnessed these changes declared that this was one of the strangest periods in the history of ancient Egypt, and also considered the ruler to be wacky because of his strange behavior. After Akhenaten's death, a mysterious ruler named Smenkhare appeared briefly and exited with hardly a trace. So nothing much is known about the next ruler, and then a very young Tutankhaten took the throne. King Tut, as he is widely known today. The boy king soon changed his name to Tutankhamun, the living image of Ammon, and oversaw a restoration of the old ways. He reigned for about 9 years and then died unexpectedly. King Tut respected tradition, and he did everything to bring back the traditional ways so that his dynasty can be brought back to the former glory. Regardless of his fame and the speculations about his fate, Tut is one mummy among many in Egypt. How many, no one knows. The Egyptian Mummy Project, which began an inventory in late 2003, has recorded almost 600 so far and is still counting. The next phase, scanning the mummies with a portable CT machine donated by the National Geographic Society and Siemens, its manufacturer, King Tut is one of the first mummies to be scanned in death as in life, moving regally ahead of his countrymen. During his reign, King Tut was entirely different from his countrymen. He saw to it that the old traditional ways are restored, and in death he was the first mummy to be examined by computer tomography, which would perform a diagnostic imaging in order to arrive at the cause of his death. A CT machine scanned the mummy head to toe, creating 1700 digital X-ray images in cross section. Tut's head, scanned in 0.62 millimeter slices to register its intricate structures, takes on eerie details in the resulting image. With Tut's entire body similarly recorded, a team of specialists in radiology, forensics, and anatomy began to probe the secrets that the winged goddesses of a gilded burial shrine protected for so long. The resultant images of the CT scans were thoroughly scrutinized by specialists in various fields so as to get accurate analysis or accurate points related to King Tut's mummy. The night of the scan, the workmen carried Tut from the tomb in his box. Like pallbearers, they climbed a ramp and a flight of stairs into the swirling sand outside, then rose on a hydraulic lift into the trailer that held the scanner. 20 minutes later, two men emerged, sprinted for an office nearby, and returned with a pair of white plastic fans. The $1 million scanner had quit because of sand in a cooler fan. Curse of the Pharaoh, joked a guard nervously. So the way in which the King Tut's body was taken out of his resting place is explained clearly, and an unexpected thing happened at that time. That was, the fan of the $1 million scanner had stopped working because of sand in the cooler fan. Eventually, the substitute fans worked well enough to finish the procedure. After checking that no data had been lost, the technicians turned Tut over to the workmen, who carried him back to his tomb. Less than 3 hours after he was removed from his coffin, the Pharaoh again rested in peace where the funerary priests had laid him so long ago. Back in the trailer, a technician pulled up astonishing images of Tut on a computer screen. A grey head took shape from a scattering of pixels, and the technician spun and tilted it in every direction. Neck vertebrae appeared as clearly as in an anatomy class. Other images revealed a hand, several views of the rib cage, and a transection of the skull. But for now, the pressure was off. Sitting back in his chair, Zahi Hawass smiled, visibly relieved that nothing had gone seriously wrong. "I didn't sleep last night, not for a second," he said. "I was so worried, but now I think I will go and sleep." The process is now almost complete, and Zahi Hawass is giving a sigh of relief for having completed this mission in a successful way. And the technicians and the experts in various fields are analyzing the data to come to a proper conclusion. We continue. By the time we left the trailer, descending metal stairs to the sandy ground, the wind had stopped. The winter air lay cold and still, like death itself. In this valley of the departed, just above the entrance to Tut's tomb, stood Orion, the constellation that the ancient Egyptians knew as the soul of Osiris, the god of the afterlife, watching over the boy king. So by the time they left the trailer, the wind had stopped and the winter air was like death itself. Just above the tomb, the Orion constellation shone in the night sky, watching over the boy king. The story of this discovery gives us an in-depth insight of Tutankhamun, the last ruler of the powerful Pharaoh dynasty. Zahi Hawass is an Egyptian archaeologist and a public official who worked at different sites in Egypt. Through his works, he helped to create an awareness of the excavation and preservation of antiquities. This lesson also gives us a fair idea about the kind of explorations conducted and the revolution in the field of archaeology, which is due to the development of modern equipments and sophisticated methods being used to give accurate results. Over and above, the story helps us to understand the collaborative efforts of all the team members involved in this project, where the tomb of king is extracted. Thus we come to the end of the lesson. Thank you.